Next stop, Amsterdam, and it's gonna be even better because I get to take my first flight in 2 years, and it's paid for 100% by my jokes. These lights are horrible. Usually I have to spend my time crawling across the continent in buses, but not this time because in April, Reg did pretty well for himself. Here's how well I did last month. In April 2018, I made half as much money as I did the entire year of 2017. And the best part is I still can't pay my student loans. They just put me on the most insulting repayment plan I've ever heard. They said, okay, tell me how much you made. Based on that information, we've adjusted your monthly payment to $5. Can you afford that? But all the same, things are looking up enough to where I can take this flight. And as you'll see, it is going to be a first class luxury, no fuss, no muss, point A to point B journey, which you will see right now. Feast your eyes on step one of my very simple plan. Some of you might be thinking, Reggie, that wasn't a plane, and that this does not look like Amsterdam. That's very astute of you. I'm glad you noticed. But look, like I said, this is a luxury trip. First class luxury. I'm gonna make sure that I see all the sights. So I'm taking the scenic route through Budapest via bus. Think of it as a terminal shuttle. Now I get to take a lovely stroll, a lovely 3-hour stroll from my terminal bus to the airport. It's gonna be lovely. I get to see Budapest between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m. Probably the safest time, but like I said, I want to see how the other half lives. It's 2 a.m. and I'm still enjoying my scenic tour around the city. I think I've really experienced Budapest nightlife. Perhaps you find my excursion nonsensical, but as you can see, I have a tour of the airplane Charlie taxi plane. I don't know what this is called. Why am I this close to an airplane? That makes no... I just walked in from the highway and now I'm here. I am one barely barbed wire fence away from a plane, and that makes no sense to me. It's 4:49 a.m. I'm finally at the airport, and I just found out, first off, I forgot to print off my boarding pass for the online check-in before I left the house, so I just had to check in at the airport. Not a big deal, I thought, but that's when I found out that apparently on Poor People Airlines, if you forget to do it online, then you have to pay 45 fucking euros to print out a piece of paper. That is how much the ticket cost in the first place. Pay it again so they can print off a piece of fucking paper. This is runway robbery. This is ridiculous. How do we just accept this? All right, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning and my gate has finally been announced. I have my passport and my boarding pass, my 45 euro boarding pass. Also, I have some chocolate because I'm a nice person. And I always bring chocolate for the flight attendants. If you don't do this, you should start doing it because they work very hard and no one really respects them. So whenever they give me something, I give them something in return. And I think that's a good deed. I think karmically, that should have made me have a great day today. It didn't. I don't know what kind of dog shit God I worship. Doesn't even respect that I'm giving fucking strangers chocolate. If you know a God that I can worship that respects chocolate as a form of social currency that'll get me into heaven and not make me have to spend 45 euros on a ticket I already bought, write in the comments below. Clue number 2 that Reggie bought dog shit tickets is when you have to walk to the tarmac before you get to your gate. Like they just had a sign saying, oh, if you want this way to your gate, and they just point to an exit. I'm half convinced I'm gonna wind up in the parking lot. So there's my plane. I'll admit that it looks like a regular plane, but with how this day is going, I wouldn't be surprised if it has to get dragged behind that plane like it's a kite. Thank God for small miracles. So you might be thinking, this doesn't look like a plane, and it doesn't look like Amsterdam. Boy, you're right. I'm in Eindhoven, which I assume is Dutch for a secret airport, because I'm taking the scenic route. Like I said, it's luxury. And just like that, I'm in Amsterdam. Bada bing, bada boom, quick trip. It was a blink of an eye, it felt like. Only, 14 hours? First flight in 2 years. It would cost twice as much as it was supposed to. It had no power outlet on the flight, so I couldn't work the entire time. My feet hurt really badly from that 4-hour walk. It took 14 hours anyway. I should have just taken a bus.